I'm here with Parisa, the co-founder and CEO of Oxyverse. What are you and your team building, and what problem does it solve?
We are building a wearable brain monitor for patients in neurocritical conditions. Such monitor provide real-time information about brain health so that the clinicians can provide timely interventions in such scenarios that every second matters. In other words, brain death is silent, we sound the alarm.
Wow. Now, what is this moment in time like for your company? What do you need help with?
It's a very exciting point at our journey. Our preliminary data shows great promise for the technology, and we are working with clinicians to start the pilots. And on other fronts, so many things are happening, recruiting the talents, fundraising, so a lot is going on.
And what do you love about building here at the Engine and building in Boston?
You know, Boston is the hub of the healthcare in the world. We are surrounded by brightest healthcare providers that are excited to bring new technologies to their practice. And Engine is like a heaven for tough tech. If you're a tough tech startup, Engine provides every resource in any aspect that you need. So I cannot ask for a better place to be.
That's great. And what are some other startups maybe you've collaborated with, admire, or watching from afar that you would give a shout out to for the community?
Our team spend most of their time at the Engine, at Harvard Innovation Lab, and morning to night we are interacting with amazing startups. They are doing a great job. If a portion of each of them get to their target, we will have much healthier population, much healthier planet. So it's hard to choose, but if I want to name one, would be Polyos Bio. They are converting food waste to high demand polymers. So their success is a huge bonus to our planet Earth.
Amazing. This is Oxyverse. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm here with Daniel from TenSixty Biosciences. Daniel, what are you and your team building, and what problem does it solve?
Well, Matt, we're building next-gen ADCs, antibody-drug conjugates, for difficult-to-treat cancers. And so we have a platform that finds targets that others don't see, and we turn that into new drugs.
Super important mission. Now, what is this moment in time for you and your startup that you would share with the community?
We are in late preclinical development, strong in vivo data, so the drug looks good. Right now we're focused on bringing together the right partners and capital to take this into the clinic.
And what do you love about building here at the Engine and building in Boston?
The Engine team has been amazing. They've really facilitated our work, and we love the community. They've genuinely made us go faster with sharing resources and ideas.
And lastly, what are some other startups or maybe even large companies in the clinical development space that you've learned from, that you admire, that you would give a shout out to for the startup community?
In general, I really admire the platform companies that are going on in Boston right now, some in the Engine. One that's been really influential for us is Immunogen. They developed the technology. They spent 30 years really struggling through figuring out all the right parameters to make this class of drugs work.
This is Daniel from TenSixty Biosciences. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Matt.
I'm here with Prakash and Mike from BioVergence. What are you and your team building, and what problem does it solve?
So we're trying to change the way that startup companies are funded, and by changing really the paradigm of funding toward not necessarily the entire company, but an asset-focused vision. So this is where, if you are interested in particularly one asset in a company, but you don't want to dilute your capital to the other aspects of it, this allows you to focus the investing into one particular asset of the company.
I would just add to that this also allows us to diversify, not only in terms of the asset itself, but also in terms of the management and stuff like that. And this is kind of unique in the sense that there are some examples where people have invested at the asset level, but by far it's been more at the company level. So we're unique in that respect.
And what's going on at BioVergence as we start 2026, and how can we help you all grow?
So BioVergence, we're global. So we are setting up operations actually right now in Switzerland. We want to tap investors all over the world. So I think a big part of our effort this year is going to be matching up the investors with the assets. And so as we go on, we feel like, this will only grow because we'll get some credibility as we do that this year. That's the big effort now, is on the investor side to raise money, and on the asset side to build the asset base.
And what do you all love about building here in Boston and building at the engine?
Yeah, so I think that actually fits in really well with what we're trying to do. So we're trying to find these early assets that maybe don't get the visibility that they need, and we're going to try to allow them to get that visibility for investors. And this area is certainly the prime place to be to identify those early assets that could just need a little bit more to make it out the door, where they traditionally, with large VCs, et cetera, maybe don't have that same ability to capitalize on that.
Now, you must talk to a lot of startups. So what are some of the ones maybe you've seen that you admire or watching here and beyond that you would give a shout out to for the community?
As with everybody else, we love the fact that AI is playing a big role in drug discovery.
Sure.
So we're paying a lot of attention to companies both here in the West Coast and worldwide. And innovation happens wherever it happens. So since identifying assets has become that much easier with AI, we're paying a lot of attention to AI-based drug discovery companies.
One of the other things that we can look to do is that once we have these different assets on board, thinking about recombining them in different ways to potentially create something novel, and using AI to help identify those potential synergies between different assets is another thing we're looking to do.
And one last thing I would add is that the fact that we are focusing on assets in terms of getting the return on investment, we do find that the late preclinical or phase 1 kind of companies fit exactly where we want to be, just because they have milestones that are less long-term and we can monetize on the milestones.
This is Prakash and Mike from BioVergence. Thanks, guys, so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.